Many thanks for staying with us. This is the Live and Daybreak. If you're just joining in, and now it's time for our paper review. We have a guest in the studio with us right here, the person of a seasoned political technocrat, Dr. Dayo Kayode. Good morning, Dr. Dayo.
Yeah, but am I still a guest?
Well,
It's always a friend of the house.
Let's welcome you.
It's
Friend.
Before you.
I'm not a guest. I'm always, I've been part of the family.
And you look amazing, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I want to be like you.
Oh, wow. Thank you. All right, Dr. D, we'll start off with first news. The top of the paper says Buhari, Obasanjo, Mark others Mon Mantu. And by the side of the paper says PIB, petrol will still sell at 162. This comes from the federal government. Says cooking gas price to drop. Still at the side of the paper, man accused of the filing 11-year-old says she's my girlfriend. Interesting news there. Then the top story says Akintoye to parties don't present candidate for 2023 election, and the writers are saying Yoruba Nation lead agitator insists on referendum, while Southern Middle Belt groups against hunger protest. Moving further, CBN, the business news, CBN blames Naira fall on COVID-19. And the sports news, Naira reign as Diri rewards Olympic medalists, Queen's players. And the world news saying accept Afghan refugees, Macau urges European countries. And lastly, on the paper here says in Haiti, deadly storms foreseen in the aftermath of earthquake.
From the Daily Times now. Our increasing population keeps me awake at night. That's coming from Obasanjo. Down the line, we have arm yourselves against bandits, Masari tells Katsina residents. 2023 elections, current NWC of PDP cannot achieve victory, says Wike. Finally, new petroleum industry law is to attract investors, Minister.
Now the Punch paper, now the screaming headline says Buhari bow to majority whip, says Asurok South claims lawmakers. That's about the signing of the PIB, and the writer saying president not insensitive but responsive to the yearnings of the majority of Nigerians, coming from one of the eight. South National Assembly members ignore their people, voted for party, says a governor's aide. And moving further down, Buhari, Obasanjo, others mourn as Mansu dies of COVID-19. Minister FIIRO board differ over staff promotion. Court freezes bank accounts of forex trading platforms, and stop election preparations. Referendum must hold, Akintoye and others. Federal government meets NIMA as NGF discusses doctor strike today. Policeman wife, 5 children found dead in Ocean community. Rep summon accountant general, customs over shippers council revenue. And to the top, what paper says Naira abusers risk 6 months in jail as CBN gives fresh warning. And finally, on the Punch paper says federal government owes central bank 15.51 trillion naira, borrowed 14.86 trillion naira under Buhari.
Bringing up the rear on this session now, Daily Sun, IPOB warns members against rebellion, denies compromise on sit-at-home suspension. Anambra Guba, APC chair Uzodimma, confident of party's victory. Masari, take up arms, defend yourselves. Katsina governor tells residents. Tofa, Jega, Makarafi, others list North's woes, with the riders there, say poverty, inequality, mutual suspicion, endemic insecurity, disunity ravaging region. Now, PIB, petrol price hike not automatic. Federal government, Rivers Assembly passes an anti-open grazing bill, enacts law for residents' registration. Obasanjo expresses worry over increasing population. Buhari, Mark, Carlo, PDP, others mourn Mantu, ex-deputy Senate president. And finally, Army chief seeks retired soldiers help in fight against insecurity. Okay, we're coming to you right now, and I want to work with the Daily Sun. Masari, take up arms, defend yourselves. That's the governor of Katsina State telling residents. Is that the right way to go?
You see, in fact, that one you just picked up, and a quick look at what has happened in Afghanistan in the past few days is an indication that we Nigerians should appraise and applaud our Nigerian army. Despite, yes, Nigerian army. Because when you see that thing that played out in Afghanistan, you see that our Nigerian army has been so resolute, despite lack of equipment, lack of good welfare package and all that. They stood gallantly to defend the territorial integrity of Nigeria. Despite the training that the US had given to Afghan army, despite humongous amount of money being spent on them, look at the way they fell like a chicken. How many of them? Almost ×3 the population of the Taliban army. And you can see some of them even joining the Taliban army.
They were even surrendering their arms.
So that's why I'm saying surrendering their arms. Unlike our own here. No equipment. I read in the papers this week that even some of them that had been jailed for mutinying, for saying what is right against the army, they were being released of recent. I mean, Nigerian army. Do you understand? So we should give kudos to our Nigerian army. Now let's come to Masari. In a situation whereby the government is highly insensitive to the safety, lives, and property of the people they are supposed to defend, what do? I think it was on this platform. I said it some times ago. The social well-being of the people is part of the things that the government should fulfill for the people. In terms of lights, good water, good roads, security. But let us go to our neighborhood. Your neighborhood, my neighborhood, your neighborhood. Let us do a survey of all the houses there. Nothing less than 80% of houses within our neighborhoods are now supplying water for themselves. Nothing less than same 80% are now giving themselves light. Generator here, generator there. Noise pollution. All the neighborhoods will now have security guiding us. You pay security money every month. So these are issues. So for Masari to now say people should take up arms, yes, it now depends on the kind of arms he's now talking about. Is it light arms? Is it light arms? Or like AK-47? Or probably individuals should now go and buy Tucano jets to be protecting their environment. So we need to understand the background to which Masari was talking from. You know, the same thing was Papa Theophilus Danjuma also said it sometimes ago too. Because this is not the first time we'll be hearing such a statement. So government should wake up. All these people that you are arresting and then you are saying you are returning back to the society, it's not part of it.
You know, this thing is going to look like the owner of the house being armed and waiting for the armed robbers to come. And the armed robbers know that who they intend to rob.
It's armed, right?
They're going to be, do you understand?
Yeah, they're going to be scared to go in.
Scared? No,
They won't
because
even
their
attempt.
weapon definitely will be, what is it now? Will be more sophisticated.
No, listen.
Than whoever.
But at least it will
okay,
be.
when they say arm yourselves, are you going to arm yourselves with machete? Hello?
Or
sticks?
yeah.
Or what? They have access to. Do you understand what I'm talking about?
Listen, there are
So I
different.
think
There
they're
are
going to be more brutal.
there are different types of arms. Let me tell you. There are different types of arms. Then again, if you know that I am armed, you be careful in coming to deal with me because you don't know the kind of arm I'm having.
And I'm going to be more
I
brutal.
can listen. You can come there and I'll be looking at you like this. Your brutality, you return it to yourself. We have seen it before in the Fanlai during the 79 or whatever election, whereby they brought in soldiers. They were shooting guns at the people, and what was coming out of the gun? Bees. And the bees started stinging the soldiers. They ran away.
That is something else.
Is it not arm? We are talking of arms. It's still arms. Do you understand? You can be coming to my house, and then I will ask, instead of you shooting me, you'll be sweeping the ground. Yes, we have seen it before. It's still available. It's part of arms. Arms is arms. Not until when Baba Basanjo advised Africans to go to South Africa with Betu and all that. They never won the apartheid war. And that's what I kept on telling people. Not until when we Africans go back to our basis. All that God has given to us, we have thrown it away out of religious copycat.
What's the basis you're talking about?
Do you understand? We have enslaved ourselves with other people's culture. We have our own culture. In those days, you don't even see people. When I was growing up, when I go to the village, our grandparents hardly lock their doors. And nothing happens. When you go somewhere to go and sit, by the time you want to enter that house, you carry stone on your head, and you will be killing my mind.
Dr. Dan.
Do you understand? You'll be hawking my mind. So these are part of arms.
Dr. Tayo, thank you so much. Because I don't know what Kirimemo is.
Okay.
Okay.
It's part of arms.
The whole thing is sounding
It's
dramatic.
No, but it's true. No, but it's the truth.
Dr.
It's
Tayo.
all right.
Has it not been happening before?
Okay.
It has been happening. Some other ones.
How many people have access to what you're talking about?
But we still have it in the village. We still have it in this Lagos.
It's okay.
Dr.
No, it's true.
You have a lot to say, but we'll continue on the next segment
Oh,
of my
sure.
comment too.
Okay, now the self-determination activists under the aegis of the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance have warned the federal government against holding the 2023 general elections without initially organizing a referendum. Now, members of the group insisted that they would use lawful means to ensure that the 2023 general election does not hold unless the federal government agrees to hold a referendum for the aggrieved indigenous nationalities to decide whether they want a federation known as Nigeria. Back to you. Now, holding a referendum as a precondition for the forthcoming 2023 elections. Reasonable demand.
I will also ask, what is asking for? Is it constitutional? Is it talking constitutionally, or just giving an advice? All right. So if
it sounded like an ultimatum,
no, you cannot,
something that has to be done.
sir. You cannot go beyond the constitution of the political enclave. What are the conditions for 2023 elections? One, the offices to be contested for, those holders must have completed their terms. Two, INEC must have to conduct the election, abi, and all other things. Do you have anything like referendum there? If you want to talk about referendum outside elections. Because when you are not joining what you are not supposed to join, you are sort of proclaiming anarchy. You are sort of encouraging people to become unruly. You are sort of coming up with things that are antithetic to our constitution. So, I mean, and unfortunately, he's supposed to be a professor. He is a professor of history. So he should learn from history.
Who are you talking about?
The author of the statement. The author of the statement. I mean, I'm not saying people should not agitate, but when you are agitating, you have to agitate within the ambit of the law.
Exactly. Now, they said using lawful means to ensure the elections don't hold unless there's a referendum for the agreement.
What are the lawful means?
Now, to decide whether they want a federation called Nigeria, this is like a call for secession. And I'm asking, is there a lawful means lawful and calling for secession in, I don't know if it comes together.
You see, I would have appreciated his clarion call if he had divulged it away from 2023 elections. Okay? There was a time somebody like me and some others, you were clamoring for census, population census, before election. Those two can be married together, because for you to be able to know how many people are within a particular area, to be able to juxtapose it with the registered voters, you need to understand the demographic characteristics of the people there. All right? That one is understandable. But when you are now talking about agitation for secession with election, it doesn't sound, don't let me use that word. It doesn't go together. Let us leave it simply. It doesn't go together. So I will prefer Professor Akitoye to divulge that secession, calling for referendum away from 2023 election, so as not to be seen as a promoter of anarchy within our federation. Whether he likes it or not, Nigeria, according to our constitution, we are still a federation.
Yeah.
Now, Nigeria is plagued with a myriad of challenges.
Yeah.
Talk of insecurity.
Yeah.
Talk of insecurity.
Economic woes,
Name
corruption, systemic breakdown.
Out there. Beautiful. Now, can division, separation, or secession actually be a solution?
No, rather it will compound and aggravate it. Let me give you an instance. I will give you an instance. What is the real cause of this problem that we are facing in Nigeria? It's lack of leadership. Lack of leadership. Nigeria is a blessed country that we have abundant resources that we have been put into use, while there are still some that are still there. Somebody was saying a week or 2 weeks ago that the money generated at a seaport alone can finance our budget. That is seaport, not airport, not from customs, not from our tax, not from oil. No, do you understand? And a lot of untapped resources are still there. So what are the leaders doing this, using these resources to do? Look at somebody, a single person. That investigation came up in UK that a particular MDG now, the DG of that place, they found over 2 billion pounds or dollars in his accounts, and another like 2 trillion naira in his accounts. Don't we have TSA? I don't know whether you understand. There's another one happening again in the office of the SA to the president on SDG with the EFCC, which EFCC has taken to court. Look at that humongous amount of money too. Do you understand? If all those things are happening and we have not been able to resolve it, you're now saying we should now divide again. Who and who are going to be ruling that place? For instance, Oduduwa Republic. Who and who? Is it this set of political leaders we have? Again, who is saying that a section of Yoruba will not marginalize another minority Yoruba? Look at the map of Biafra that was drawn by the proponents of IPOB. So people were saying, look, we can't be under you. The way you are going to muscle us up. Do you understand? So why can't we, first of all, ensure we put good leaders in place? What I'm looking at is this. If we can have good leaders at the federal, okay, every other thing will stream down. Then these people can now look at themselves again. Put some good leaders at, maybe let's have 6 regions. Put them there to be able to annex our resources and then ensure that there is what we call regional development and regional competition. Regional development, regional competition, and regional cooperation.
Okay.
Do you understand? By the time we start doing that, you will see that all these problems will just fizzle out.
Okay, Dr. Dayo, do you think the Constitution is part of this problem? Because this group, National Indigenous Nationalities Alliance, one of the
There is nothing wrong with our Constitution.
Calling for complete abolition of the current 1999 Constitution. The reason is because it described this as an agent of slavery.
No,
Did
no.
you say there is nothing wrong with our Constitution?
Nothing is wrong with our Constitution. Only the operators are faulty. It's the operators. They look for loopholes. There is nothing in this world that is perfect except the Almighty. Nothing is perfect.
But those loopholes they're looking for should be fixed.
I say nothing.
Oh.
Listen, not the moment you fix it, there will still be another loophole. Even American Constitution is not perfect. American Constitution is not perfect. UK Constitution is not perfect. Is it not safe? Is it not our jettisoned 1963 Constitution that was taken to UAE and they are still using it today? 1963, is that not what they took to that place?
That's UAE.
Yeah, United Arab Emirates. I say, is that not the same constitution that we jettisoned here that they took to that place? Do you know their population? Do you know their landmass? Can you see the kind of development coming up there? What I'm saying is, our constitution, there is no amendment you make today that will make our constitution perfect. Because there can't be any perfect constitution.
Complete abolition.
Listen, let them first of all abolish their prophetic idiosyncrasies. Let them also drop their hedonistic tendencies. Okay? By the time they drop all that and stop looking at me, I, myself, and then go for we, us, all, then they will see that our constitution is okay. They will see that our constitution is okay.
But today it's like you against a lot of people. Because a lot of persons, groups have come in.
I'm not against a lot of.
So to say that this constitution should be amended, and you are saying there's nothing wrong. So I'm wondering why you.
I have been saying it from time immemorial.
That the Constitution needs no amendment.
It is, let us first of all change the people that are, one, executing and interpreting the Constitution. You will see a particular judge today. We declare something as regard that Constitution in Port Harcourt. Another one will declare another thing in Jos. Another one will declare, like I was telling somebody yesterday, I said, this thing we call Holy Spirit, does it talk from two sides of the mouth? Holy Spirit is supposed to be one. And whatever it says in Nigeria should be what we say in America. So it's our constitution. Our constitution is like our Holy Spirit. It's our political Holy Spirit. Whatever interpretation a lawyer or a judge gives to it in Port Harcourt should be the same as in Abuja.
Across the board.
Across the board. But the moment you now see them talking from two sides of the mouth and all that, know that there is something amiss with them. Not with that constitution, but with them. The moment they remove that thing that is amiss amongst them, you will see that that constitution will be workable. Because they will now find out that what is good for the goose is also good
For the gander.
Then we will now be able to experience where I'm going is this: fair play, equity, justice, and a level playing ground for everybody to develop accordingly and appropriately.
Now, the federal government frowns at the words agitation and self-determination, how would the federal government perceive this very body? I mean, those who came up making this statement, giving precondition for the 2023 election.
Well, I wouldn't know how the federal government will perceive them because I'm not part of them. But I think
Political technocrat. This is political.
Yes, and that is why I am dealing with it technically too. You understand? That is where you will see the technicalities coming in. I'm not part of them. But the word agitation is part of political development. It's part of the ingredients of democracy. I don't know whether you understand. Because democracy entails different forms of opinion, different forms of philosophy, and different forms of ideology within a political enclave. And to that extent, you can't expect them to think alike. And the moment they are not thinking alike, there will be agitations. So if one is now saying you don't want agitation, then you are not democratic enough. Okay? Now, but there are rules of engagement. Okay? When agitation is allowed, there are still rules of engagement. Just like I said, Professor Kitore needing to attach their demands to 2023 elections. That one is about going beyond out of play. So the moment federal government sees that somebody is going out of play, they can show that person a yellow card. The person can be shown a yellow card. And as the government in power, the moment you continue that off play, you'll be shown a red card. It is allowed everywhere in the whole world. Everywhere is allowed. So if you want to agitate, ensure you agitate within the ambit of law. You have to agitate within the ambit of law. Because you that is agitating, you only have a knife. And the person you are agitating against is having a gun. If I know that, yes, you are coming to come and stab me with your knife, and I have my gun, I will incapacitate you.
Shoot you first, yeah.
Before you get to me, I will get you incapacitated. Yeah. So, we have to be careful the way we agitate.
But this statement by this group using lawful means to ensure elections don't hold in 2023, it's a strong word.
What lawful means can they use? It's by going to court and it's still within the ambit of law. I mean, within the ambit of law.
Now, do you see a possible disruption of the elections by this group?
And that is why I said, you see, the managers and interpreters of our constitution need to be careful. Do you get? Needs to be careful. We have seen it in this country before now. During the ABN imbroglio in this country, whereby the activities of ABN when they went to the court, I mean, was not allowed. And then also said he was going to continue, Professor Erin, I think, was going to continue with his election. And then somewhere again, I think in Calabar or Port or somewhere, another judge was giving another judgment. So we have to be careful about those that interprets and manages our constitution. If that time comes, we allow sentiments without looking at the real thing to play out, then we might be digging a big grave for this country.
All right, now the federal government went all the way to ensure the arrests of Nnamdi Kanu and Sunday Igboho. Having seen these people.
Sorry, was it federal government that arrested Sunday Igboho?
No, it was not direct.
Because you said
no, just the same way it happened.
that they happen differently. They happen differently.
Differently. What I'm trying to say is that it's the same pattern.
Really?
This one was in another country.
Yes.
Was arrested there.
Who arrested
Nigeria.
him? Who arrested him in that country?
No, but he is under federal government's custody.
Now, yeah, but it was not the one that arrested him there. Then Igboho was not arrested by federal government. It was the Benin Republic.
Whoever did whatever,
yes,
did it to bring these two guys to Nigeria.
Are we sure?
Nigeria, of course, the federal government has been asking.
Sure, I have a contrary view.
Okay, what's your contrary?
I have a contrary view. It was to travel.
Probably
out.
There's something you know we do not know.
No, listen, but no.
Can we hear it?
It's about understanding the literature of the whole scenario.
Okay.
It was alleged to be using another passport, alleged in Benin Republic to travel to Germany. Okay, and the officials at the airport arrested him. Okay, and when Nigerian government heard that, oh, this guy was even trying to travel out there, that's why the fact we say he should see us at DSS, has been arrested there. Okay, since we are neighbors and we have diplomatic relations, please extradite him to Nigeria. And that's exactly what happened. It wasn't Nigerian government that arrested him. We have to be clear of that.
Oh, okay, all right.
That of IPOP, till today, we are still having series of stories of his arrest.
So the circumstances surrounding it.
Yes, I wouldn't want to place it on federal government, even though we can speculate that there's what we call fifth columnist. But how to unveil the alibi is what we have to be highly technical about.
All right, Dr. Dayo Kayode, we have a lot to talk to you about, but for the want of time, we have to end your section now. Thank you so much, Dr. Dayo.
I appreciate it.
Thank you so very
Thanks
much
for having me always.
Thank you.
Still remains the friend of the house.
Yeah, you are always our friend.
Are.
All right,
You're not even a friend, a brother of the house.
Yes, okay, brother of the house. Thank you.
All right, that was Dr. Dayo Kayode. I called him a seasoned political technocrat. I'm sure you agree with me after this wonderful and informative section. We'll take a short break now for the sport lovers. Stay tuned because today Chidieze is bringing you up to speed with what's happening in the world of sport. We'll be right back.